Hey there, how's it going guys? This is Nate from Aubit Sound, here to bring you an amazing new tutorial on how to make Gray's vocal chops. I've got an example set right here. I'm sure you heard this in Where Are You Now by Justin Bieber and Jack U. It's the same effect. So pay attention because this is like the new fad. Everyone's really into these effects. Lauv does it too in his I Like Me Better. Like that main hook is also this similar effect. It's just distortion and octaves. But key thing, distortion. I have an effect rack here of everything it is. And let me start with the first thing, which is reverb. I believe it's really tight reverb. Yeah, so the decay time is as low as it goes, and it blurs it a little bit, if that makes sense. So it softens it, you know, kind of blurs it out. If I turn this up. Yeah. Next, what we have is an auto filter. You can do the same thing with an EQ, you know, like you can take this and then pull it here. You know, it's the same thing, but, you know, this is just convenient. So here's how this sounds. And now it doesn't sound like much now, but the key thing that is creating this sound is overdrive or distortion. You can do it with Camel Crusher or Decapitator by Sound Toys or any other distortion plugin. This is what it sounds like now. Yeah, ouch. Give me a quick second. Next, we have more reverb that softens the overdrive because obviously the overdrive is overpowering. And I put a compressor on it so that it wouldn't peak. I mean, it didn't peak, but you know, it was harsh to the ears. So here's how it sounds now with the extra verb. This verb actually not only softens it, but it gives it a little bit of space, right? So it sounds like it's in a really tight room with like not drywall, but the acoustics in there are like really tight. What we have here now is, now if I turn this tail, actually I'll just rename that tail effect. Right, so if I turn this tail effect off, I'll A and B it so you can listen to it on and off. For one, the volume goes down because it's turned all the way up to wet. It can't go much louder because the wet is all the way up. If I were to turn it down a little bit. Right, so a key thing to remember is that this sound is actually very, very sensitive. Because of the distortion. Distortion it's clipping, right? So it's clipping all the way up to 0 dB. And because it's clipping that much, it's basically maximizing a lot of overtones into the mix of this track. And you want to be careful with that because it can hurt the ears very quickly. But you get some pretty cool results if you know what you're doing. Like, you know, the electric guitar is just all distortion, you know, and you play it with fifths, and then bam, you got this amazing, like, you know, you got this amazing sound that sounds really wide and really big. If I were to do this, for example, let me see. Let me grab another EQ and then throw it under the overdrive. And then if I were to do this, see, these lower ends are starting to clip out with everything else, and there's not very much, there's no room. I shouldn't even say not very much. There's no room anymore to give anything space. So everything is fighting against each other. And whatever's loudest is what's going to come out. You can get some pretty cool results with that, which actually that was really cool. It almost sounds like a square, you know, like a square synth. And that's actually basically what it's doing. Because, you know, if you look at super distorted music in general, you'll see, you know, what used to be a sine wave is maxed out. So it stops at 0 dB, and it's a square. Continuing on, cleaning up the sound is super important because you want to make sure that you don't have anything else clashing in the mix. Here's the difference. I think this makes a significant difference. You know, it's got almost a brighter sound to it, and I personally enjoy that. I'm going to change the timbre a little bit. And the reason I dip it so much here is if you look at the spectrum, Here and here is where it really starts to come up the most. And I want to make sure that my listeners' ears are not being destroyed by my sound. That's why I have this notch here. And the very end, I actually have reverb. It makes it ambient. So that being said, let's listen to all of it together dry, and then listen to all of it together wet. I wanted to show you guys this before I said anything. If you know how to make good vocal chops, this on its own is amazing. Let's listen to this wet. That's it. Really hope you guys enjoyed. If you have questions, feel free to comment. We'll get back to you if we can. Thanks again for watching.